Hey guys, Turismo DJ here. This was just a short daily race C race that I wanted to show you guys since it was one of the best races I've had all week. So without further ado, let's get on with it. As you can see, we have two GTMX guys near the front. I'm starting in third place and Ninja Q starting in the lead. So we got a bunch of different types of cars. We got the Citroen leading the pack, and then in second place we got the Audi, me and the Mercedes, and fourth place the Corvette. Down to turn one, Ninja Q gets shoved a bit wide. It doesn't have the best exit, allowing the Corvette to get alongside with him, and the Audi's alongside with me for sort of third place right here as we're approaching the left-hander. Corvette has the better racing line and just gets a little bit ahead about approaching the right-hander. Then the Q gets back alongside, so now we're still battling for the lead right here, coming down to the hairpin. And we just follow into line. Corvette gets ahead just enough, and now we're just trying to finish up the GP course. You can see the BMW is just on me for fourth place, and sixth place is a little bit further back. So as we just focus upon the lead right here. I'd say the main thing to worry about in this race is just making sure to save enough fuel. This race you have to basically short shift a little bit in order to make it both laps without pitting. So that's basically what I'm going to try to do, and we're just going to, at the end of the lap, we're going to go over each car just to show how much fuel everyone has. Right now the Corvette's leading, followed by Q in second, again the Audi third, and me in fourth. You can see there's a little bit of a gap to fifth place. And then from there, so I'd say seventh on back, that's about who's still keeping up with us. But right now it's basically a four-car train as I get loose out of the final corner there. Entering into the Nordschleife. Again, it's pretty hard to pass in these first few sectors, so just trying to follow in line, not make any big mistakes. Again, as the Corvette's leading us, I go a bit off track there. I'm just going to go a bit back just to show it wasn't anything major as we ride on board here. So you ride on board here, you can see I go a bit too far, hit the wall, but luckily I don't lose too much time. Now the goal is just to try to catch back up to those top three. Pulling a bit of a gap on fifth place now, so I shouldn't have too much pressure from behind. Again, eighth on back is basically miles away, so we don't have to worry about that. Top three is about 3/4 of a second ahead right now. Got a bit of a better exit than that Mazda behind, so I'm able to pull a bit of a gap. Approaching the downhill to Arenberg. Again, the top three almost nose to tail right here, so it's just separated by a few car lengths. See if anyone's close enough to make a pass. Looks like the Corvette's just gonna overshoot this corner just a little bit, runs a bit wide, but doesn't give up much time. Now third place is right on Q in that Citroen to see if he can get a pass down through the foxhole. Still a car length back, but not easy to make a pass through here, so it's probably just gonna stay in line. Up the hill, through the fast left-hander, and then slowing down. He's right on him, gives him a bit of a tap, but doesn't get the move done. So as you ride on board here for third place, you can just see how close everyone is. Get back to fourth, you can see him a few car lengths back, and then fifth, it's got a bigger gap. So I'd say it's really just the top four right now. Third place runs a bit wide. And see, I'd say the leader right now, this isn't their best sector. I feel like they're holding us up a bit right now. See a bunch of cones have been knocked over. So this is basically the saving part of the race. Everyone's just trying to conserve everything, see if they can go into higher fuel modes or something just in order to save that fuel. That way they can push for the final lap. So you just To go through the top 4 right now, just showing the fuel. Say first place, just at 75% fuel. Second place looks like a little bit more. Third place even more than Q in second, and then me, I'm about at 75. So I'd say me and the Mercedes and the Corvette about at 75, and second and third at a little bit more. Again, we have a pretty big gap over 5th place right now. Looks about a second or a second and a half. Approaching the long back straight here. See if any of us can make a pass up through here. Just getting pretty intense right now. Not much passing going on, but still everyone's pretty close in case anyone makes a mistake, that we're all there to take advantage. Back up to the leader. Tire wear hasn't really been much of an issue. As you can see, it's basically tires are all white and there's a little bit of red at the top, but not really making a big impact. As we approach the carousel, or the hairpin before the carousel, see if anyone overshoots the turn. Corvette does a pretty nice job, doesn't really let anyone get by. And I'm just going to go back to 4th place for a second, right on board. As we can see, no one really misses the carousel per se, but the Audi runs just a bit wide and exits up a bit early. Unfortunately, I can't get past. It's not too big of a mistake. So as we approach the highest point of the track right here, down through like what I'd like to think to be the most technical part of the circuit. It's a lot of left and rights. I feel like I've basically caught up that gap that I had before. Back up to 2nd place here. He's right on the Corvette for the lead. And the Audi is right on him for 3rd, and I'm about 2 car lengths back for 4th. So about 3 cores into the lap, and the top 4 are separated by under a second. As I approach YouTube corner up here, see if anyone runs a bit wide. The leader clips the curb, but maintains that lead over Q in the Citroen. Down the hill. Just gotta be patient here, not to run wide, or else you get caught into the sand. Everyone takes the corner smoothly. And we're just approaching the end of the lap, trying to make sure that you're in proper position by the time you get to the back straight. So everyone is close enough. They should be within slipstream range. I'm falling a bit back, but I should still be close enough. I'm about 8/10 back right now. Approaching the 2nd carousel. Still everyone just driving very respectfully onto the final corner. Down this long straight, Q should get a nice draft onto the Corvette, see if he can go for the pass. We're going to ride on board here. See the Audi right behind also has the draft, so whenever Q goes for the lead, the Audi will have to decide who to go with. So Q goes to the right-hand side. We're going to switch to the Audi. They're battling side by side for the lead. A little bit of contact between them. Looks like the Audi wants to go with the Corvette. We're just going to try to split it 3 wide. Not much room there. It gets pushed off. So now it's going down the hill. It's still side by side for the lead. Q and the Citroen. And there's a lot of contact. Q gets hit into the grass, spins out. He falls back to 4th place, and the Corvette gets a 5-second penalty. We're just going to go back a second just to review that incident. Yeah, it looks like there just wasn't too much room. The incident wasn't particularly intentional, but it was just, let's argue, a racing incident where there's just not enough room for 2 car lengths there. But anyways, the 5-second penalty, that's unfortunate, but it's going to ride on board up to 3rd place. So that basically should give 2nd and 3rd place the lead after this 5-second penalty has been served. As you go up to turn 1, Audi overshoots the turn, hits the Corvette. They both run wide. And I am the only one that actually makes turn 1 cleanly. We're just going to go back and review that incident from TV perspective. You can see the Audi, there was a bit of contact, but I believe he just kind of came across our nose and made a bit of contact and overshot the corner. Just gonna ride one more time on board with that Audi just to get a good perspective of what happened. See me on the right-hand side. He's trying to kind of cover, but yeah, not really much contact. It was just mostly him overshooting the braking zone. He got stuck in the sand and gets re-ghosted onto the track. And just if we watch one more time from Q's perspective, he's way back here, but all that contact actually allows him to get up to second place. Because he's just watching the mess unfold up ahead. 5-second penalty, and 2 cars run off the track. That pulls him into second place. And now for the rest of the lap, we're going to ride on board with Q and seeing if he can catch up to me. But as we're starting the second lap, we're just going to go over everyone's fuel. Seem just a little bit under 50%. So I might need to save a little bit just to maintain that gap. Q is just at 50% right now, so he should be okay. Third place looks like they even have less, like 45% or so. And then fourth place, they're like 53% or something around that, so they're probably the best of all the top 4 fuel-wise. So back up to Q for second place. Gap is about like a 1.5 seconds or so to the lead. So now this race has definitely changed dramatically after that incident at the end of lap 1 with the contact of Q and the 5-second penalty being served, and then the incident at turn 1 where both those GTMX cars got punted into turn 1. So just an unfortunate set of circumstances, but what that does is it leaves a lot of the cars separated, as we see 1.5 second gap to second place to Q, and then even further back, I would say, looks like a 5-second gap or so to third place. And then fourth has changed spots, and the Corvette's fallen all the way down to 6th place. But anyways, back up to the lead. We got Q. It's the tire wear, and I'd say if you look at the tire wear, it's not that big of a difference, but I'd definitely say the Mercedes, the front tires, there's definitely a little bit more red than the Citroen in 2nd place. And so he's just gaining a few tenths every sector, and that should definitely allow him to catch up. I'm basically, again, trying to save fuel as I am a bit lower than everyone else. You can see 3rd place in the background up there. Interesting to see if he'll be able to catch up to us by the end of the lap. So we're getting purple sectors here, mostly just because we're actually on a rolling start on the 2nd lap, where we start the lap a lot faster. So on the way down to Arnberg, not much pressure right here, but still trying to keep a good pace, see if I can keep Q out of slipstream range. So for this next sector, we're just going to ride on board with 2nd place and see if we can noticeably see any gap or changing. So he's close enough to see us, but I don't know if he's close enough for slipstream at this point. Up the hill, he definitely broke a bit later than us. And as you can see, no one's really making a big mistake per so, but I'd just say it's a bit more aggressive on the gas and corner exit, and that's just allowing him to catch up, maybe braking a bit later, trail braking into the corner. And let's just, if we go on board with each car as well, let's ride on board for a few more corners here. Just looking at the points that each car is shifting. Looks like Q is shifting at around like a quarter on like the rev limiter up on the bar, and if we go on to us, we're shifting at about, looks like 50-55% or so. Say 50% for us, and then Q shifting at a quarter, so it's definitely a noticeable difference in where each car is shifting. Going back up onto TV view, before GTMX 3rd place was about 5 seconds back, I would say. He's definitely closed that gap up, looks around like 3.5 to maybe 4 seconds at this point. But back up to the lead. So at this point right here, basically my goal was trying to be at about 25% fuel, and if we check on the second place, they're about at 25, but we're a little bit under, so we're definitely still questionable about if we can make it to the end. Wasn't really messing with the fuel modes per se. I was basically just focusing on short shifting, and that's all I was thinking that would make the biggest impact. So again, as we're approaching the carousel up ahead, made a bit of a mistake there. It's right on board for a second. Basically just ran a bit wide as we clipped the curb, and it shoved us to the left and almost lost the car there, but luckily saved it. But unfortunately that allowed Q right up to our bumper, so now we have a lot of pressure for the lead here. And I was almost concerned just letting Q by, that way I'd have the draft onto the long straight, but I didn't want to let him by this early, so we're still keeping the lead. But now that he's back on us, we lost about a second there. That also allowed third place to catch up a little bit. So before third was about 5 seconds and then about 3 seconds, and if we go back, they still can't see us up ahead, but they definitely have closed the gap. Just pushing as much as we could, trying to attack the curves here. Not really pulling away from Q, basically about 2 car lengths back. Clipping the apex. It's right on board with Q through here. Definitely on our bumper right now. He's just trying to look for a passing opportunity. As I run a bit wide here over to the left-hand side, he sees a possible move over to the right, but decides to stay, to just follow behind. Over to this left-hander. Onto the second carousel. I intentionally missed it to try to let him by, but he doesn't want to go by, and I clipped the grass on the right-hand side. And then I'm following behind down the back straight, and if we just check up on the fuel right now, Q is at definitely like 12% or so, but I'm at only, I'm red on fuel in third place. They also look pretty safe, so unfortunately I have to just go down node 6 in order to make sure I can make it to the end. And this basically just allows third place to get by us, just because I have to be mode 6 in order to make it to the end. So going for that overtake on the final straight, he gets up into second place. The question is, can he catch Q into the lead here? After pulling that gap down from around 5 seconds and being pushed into the sand onto the final lap. Onto the final corners here. Can Q hold on for the win? Overshoots the final corner just a little bit, but not enough to allow second place to get the lead. And Q in the Citroen gets the victory after starting from pole position. GTMX in the Audi gets second place, and I managed to get a third in the very end. So, hope you enjoyed that race. It was definitely very intense, just all those first 4 cars being within a second on that first lap, and then just trying to save fuel to the very end. So, at the very end, Pelican comes in 4th, and believe if we just go back a little bit, see what happened to the other GTMX car. Yes, there was. Oh yes. So if we run on board with 6th place here, the Corvette had fallen down to 5th, and this guy tried to go for a pass. It looks like the other car tried to cut across him, but there wasn't much contact. And if we just ride on board with the Corvette, see the other Corvette in his mirror, and yeah, I think he just clips the curb, spins around, falls on track, and after racing for the lead on the first lap and falling down to like 8th place, I guess he just DNFs. Yeah, it's unfortunate for him, but once again, congratulations to Q for the win, and see you guys next time.